Similar triangles. When two shapes are similar, right? So it doesn't have to be, it's not strictly triangles, but that's what we're going to be dealing with. But when two shapes are similar, their shapes are the same. Okay, so they're both triangles, both squares, both parallelograms, and their angles are equal, right? And if this is the case, corresponding sides are in proportion. Corresponding means matching sides, and we'll see in the example what that means. So corresponding sides are in proportion. Please note that in a triangle, if you know two angles in one triangle and you know they're equal to two angles in another triangle, then the third angle has to be equal, right? Because they're both 180, take away the two angles you know. So that's just in case you missed that. Okay, example 1. Okay, so example 1 here gives me two triangles. You can clearly see they're not the same, right? One is bigger than the other. They're not the same. But because they have the same symbols in their angles, it means this angle here is equal to this angle here. The one with the dot is equal to that, and the one with the tick is equal to that, right? So these are similar triangles. So these are similar triangles. And the whole point of similar triangles is their sides are in proportion. Okay, so how you set up the proportion, there's a few ways to do it, okay? But how I'm going to do it is I'm going to put the small triangle on top and I'm going to put it over the matching side in the big triangle. So I'm going to do small over big, right? So I'm going to pick a side in the small triangle. So the corresponding side means you have to pick the matching sides. So if I pick 5, right, now that's the side between the dot and the tick, and I put it over the corresponding or the matching side in this triangle. So I pick the side between the dot and the tick, and that is 10, right, is equal to. Now I'm going to pick the side between the circle and the dot. So between the circle and the dot, that's 3. And over this side, the side between the circle and the dot is x. Okay, so I have my fraction set up. Okay, so what you do then is you cross multiply. So cross multiply from here. And when you cross multiply here, you'll get 5x is equal to 30. So 5 by x is 5x, 3 by 10 is 30, and then divide each side by 5, and you get x is equal to 6. So that's the answer to that question. Okay, example 2. Example 2, same again, triangles, right? Now this time I've only told you that two angles are the same. So this has the same symbol as that, so they're equal. These have the same symbols here, so that means they measure the same, and therefore the third one must be the same. So I'm going to put a dot in the third one. It has to be the same, because if two are equal, the third has to be equal. Okay, so let's set up our triangles again, right? So this time again, I might go big over small. It doesn't matter as long as I'm consistent, okay? So just for a change, I might do big over small. So you pick a side in, sorry, they didn't tell me which side. I didn't mark which side I'm supposed to be finding. Sorry, this is x here. Okay, so I'm going to pick the big over the small. So I pick a side between the big triangle on the big triangle. So between the dot and the two circles, that's 20. So I'm going to put it over the side between the dot and the two circles over here, which is 16. Right, I'm going to let it equal to, now I must make sure I'm putting the big on top. Okay, so between the circle with the line and the dot is x. So between the circle with the line and the dot is 12. So then I have my fraction set up. So then I cross multiply. So I'll get 16 by x is 16x. 12 by 20 is 240. Then divide each side by 16. And you end up with x is equal to, what does 16 go into that? X, 16 into 240 goes 15 times. Okay, right. And finally, example 3. Now, there's two similar triangles here, there's just one on top of the other. Okay, so if you want to separate them, right, okay, this is the top one and this is the bigger triangle. These are similar. Why? Well, this angle up here is the same angle, so they have to be the same, don't they? Now, this little arrow here on these two lines means they're parallel. So they're parallel lines, so therefore we have corresponding angles. So corresponding angles, you can draw the F. So that means that angle there is equal to that angle. So that angle is equal to that angle. The other two ones are also corresponding. It's a backwards F. Or you can say, well, if two are equal, the third has to be equal. Okay, so then filling in, this is 4. On the big triangle, this is 4 and 3 makes 7. Right, this one down at the bottom is 8. And this is X over here that I have to find it up. So you set it up. Your choice, small on top, big on the bottom, your choice. So I'll pick small on top and big on the bottom. Why am I writing it down? Because it has to be the same for both of them. Right, so small, so I'm going to pick 4 over 7 equals, between the circle and the dot is 8. Between the circle and the dot is X. Okay, then you cross multiply. So 4 by X is 4X. 7 eighths are 56, and then I'm going to divide each side by 4, and you get X is equal to 14. And that's similar triangles.